Kristen O'Byrne, and this is my presentation on alcohol consumption among college students. I will be discussing what the problem is, why it's a problem, and the solution to the problem. The legal age for drinking in the U.S. is 21. People who enter college right out of high school are between 17 and 19 years old, therefore not of legal drinking age. Studies throughout the past decade demonstrate that American college campuses have substantial levels of heavy drinking, and that heavy alcohol consumption in North America peaks among 18 to 25-year-olds. It doesn't matter what the age limit is, these young adults are still able to easily access alcohol. Alcohol continues to be the most widely used substance abuse among America's young adults, even more than tobacco or other drugs. Therefore, we need to figure out why they are drinking so much, and then how to get these young adults to not drink as much, or even better, not drink at all. What is binge drinking? Well, according to research, 54% of college students binge drink. However, I believe the numbers are even higher than that. Binge drinking is defined as college students drinking 5 or more drinks in a row for men and 4 or more for women. A drink is considered a can of beer, 4 ounces of wine, a can of alcoholic seltzer, or a mixed drink with 1 ounce of alcohol. However, usually bars serve more than that. Their glasses of wine are more than 4 ounces, beers can be up to 20, and usually a mixed drink will have more than 1 ounce of alcohol. So if someone is calculating their 4 to 5 drinks, it could easily be double that. And if students are going out twice a week, that is 8 times a month that they are binge drinking. Individuals who are classified as binge drinkers exhibited greater inhibitory impairment in response to moderate doses of alcohol compared to non-binge drinkers. When thinking about those that are binge drinking each weekend, that can really affect their inhibitory impairment over time. When college students are planning a night of drinking, they're probably only thinking of the great time they'll have, socializing with friends, dancing, meeting new people, playing drinking games, etc. However, there are many problems when it comes to binge drinking. Unplanned and unprotected sex, arguments with friends, property damage, driving under the influence, and then some more serious: suicide, homicide, assault, rape, burns, falls, drowning, and alcohol poisoning. It is very unfortunate, but alcohol is a factor in the deaths of approximately 4,300 youth per year in the U.S. And college students have even higher numbers. Here are a list of some of them. 696,000 college students aged 18 to 24 were assaulted by another student who had been drinking. 599,000 were injured because of drinking. 474,000 students had unprotected sex as a result of drinking. 97,000 were the victims of alcohol-related sexual assaults. About 25% of college students report negative academic consequences as a result of their drinking, including missed class, falling behind, doing poorly on exams or papers, and receiving lower grades overall. You would think that just by looking at these numbers, drinking would not be such a problem, or people would not be as willing to drink. But they are constant issues. So why are college students drinking so much? Well, one of the things about going to college is that a lot of times, this is the first time these people are away from their parents and living on their own. So it's an opportunity to try new things, meet new people, and become the person they want to be. There are new negative experiences, positive experiences, new pressures, new friends, and wanting to fit in. And these are all reasons why these young adults dive in and start drinking. One of the things about going somewhere new is that you want to make new friends and fit in. And this is where peer pressure can really come in. New students attempting to develop friendships with peers and adapt to college life may be more likely to accept offers of alcohol. If everyone else is drinking and looks like they're having a good time, then people are going to want to join in and do it too. If someone is not drinking, but others are pressuring or influencing them to drink, then it's likely they will start. Research has consistently supported the notion that peer influence is associated with risky health behaviors, including alcohol use. Then there are relationships that are already established. Maybe friends went to college together or knew someone from somewhere else. And this can be a big factor as well. The anticipated interaction between perceived best friend alcohol use and the need to belong was significant, such that perceptions of best friend alcohol use were positively associated with favorable prototypes of alcohol users, but only for those who were higher in the need to belong. So it's not just new friendships, but peer pressure can happen with older friendships as well. The thing with friendships and drinking is that each friend may want to drink as much as their peers. And that is a problem because a lot of times people overestimate how much their peers are actually drinking. And overestimating drinking norms has been found to be positively associated with an individual's own alcohol consumption and predictive of problematic drinking. Peer pressure and joining a sorority can go hand in hand, as joining a sorority and wanting to fit in is also just like peer pressure. So once in a sorority, there's a lot of drinking as well. In a study on the members of a sorority, 55.7% indicated drinking between 4 and 9 alcoholic drinks within 2 hours. 61.6% indicated that they typically drink between 3 and 8 alcoholic drinks. That's just in one night. If this is happening multiple times a week or multiple times a month, they are consuming a lot of alcohol, more than those that are not in a sorority. Even though social media doesn't seem to firsthand correlate with alcohol, it has a lot to do with drinking. 80% of college students are on social media. They spend an average of 12 to 16 hours per week on social media. And I think that's a lower number. The other thing is that heavier computer usage was associated with alcohol consumption. So the more time you spend on your online and on social media, the more likely you are to drink. And since what is being posted on social media is all fun and jokes, the use of social media may influence substance use behaviors through the postings of alcohol-related content, including posts, photos, memes. Here are 2 examples of memes that are casually put on someone's social media. The first one, there are only 2 great things about college, drinking, and well, I guess there's only one, meaning that most people come out of college with a drinking habit. The other one, went to college for a job, came out with no job and a drinking habit. Right there shows exactly what the problem is. And it is a common thing to be posting about. 83% of college students have said that a friend has posted alcohol-related content. Interestingly, Facebook alone has its own issues. Profile pages of male college students found a positive correlation between the number of Facebook friends and the number of alcohol references on their own Facebook profile. Therefore, the more friends someone has, the more they talk about alcohol, and the more you talk about alcohol, the more likely you are to be drinking it as well. Alcohol-related postings by an individual on Facebook are positively correlated with his or her self-reported drinking and alcohol problems. One of the bigger problems with drinking is the emotional aspect. People drink for feelings, both good and bad, and people drink for their positive and negative experiences as well. Motivational models of alcohol consumption posit that people drink for 2 distinct reasons: as a way to regulate negative experiences, as well as to enhance positive experiences. So basically, there's always a reason to drink. One of the things with going to college is learning all these new feelings of being an adult and stress. And you're experiencing a lot of things that you may not have experienced before. Can you afford to be on your own or living in college? Are you able to get by without a job? Do you need a job? Can you juggle schoolwork and a job? Can you keep up with sports? Are you able to keep your grades up? These are all things that cause new stresses, and unfortunately can lead to drinking. One way that people tend to respond to stressful events is by drinking. So this tendency seems to be prevalent in college, where many students consume alcohol at levels that are typically associated with unhealthy physical and social functioning. And there are a lot of negative experiences as well. Drinking to cope with negative experiences is associated with the relative absence of other more adaptive coping skills and problematic drinking. Research shows that men cope with poor mood by drinking alcohol, and some researchers have shown that men exhibit stronger associations between daily negative moods and alcohol. So unless you're having a great day, chances are you are drinking alcohol to cope with your day. Getting a bad grade or having a hard time socially can really bring someone down. On days when college students reported being ego depleted, the more negative their mistreatment experiences during the day, the more they drank that evening, and the more likely they were to binge drink. Over time, the more upset and stressed these students get, the more they may end up drinking. Average state ego depletion was positively associated with average level of drinking, suggesting that people who reported more ego depletion over the 30 days also reported consuming more alcohol. And this is just a table that shows that exactly, that the more ego depletion, the more people consumed alcohol. Students who reported higher negative effect during the day consumed more alcohol that evening and were more likely to report alcohol-related problems. Again, the more negative experiences, the more stress, the more they are to drink. And this is something that is really common in college, being stressed, having negative experiences, dealing with all these new feelings and emotions, and living on your own. And of course, there's the addiction part of drinking alcohol. One of the big problems with alcohol is that it is addictive. And since so many college students are binge drinking or drinking every weekend, these problems can continue. Alcohol-related stimuli have been found to heighten physiological arousal, alcohol craving, and actual consumption across both clinical and non-clinical samples. Just smelling alcohol can cause someone to crave it and therefore wanting to drink it. So the more someone drinks, the more they want it, and this becomes a continuous cycle. So now is the real question. How do we get these college students to not drink so much or not drink at all? I came up with a multiple step process that can hit different people at different levels, but can also come together to help decrease the alcohol consumption in college students. Like a pick and choose which program works best for you. The few things discussed are PFI, which is personalized feedback interventions, teaching students about life goals, injunctive versus descriptive norms, and intrinsic versus extrinsic motivated behaviors. Some people may relate better to one program over another, and some may need multiple programs, and some may even use all. The great thing is you can offer different programs and ideas, and the more this gives people the chance to find something that actually works for them. One of the most successful approaches to addressing college drinking to date has been PFI, Personalized Feedback Intervention. This is designed to motivate students to reduce their alcohol consumption, typically by highlighting discrepancies between self-reported alcohol consumption and peer drinking norms. So looking at how much people are actually drinking versus how much you think people are drinking. Personalized drinking feedback is an evidence-based and increasingly common way of intervening with high-risk college drinking. PFI seems to be effective across a range of reducing alcohol consumption in the short term. It works great because it brings attention to the problem. The college students become so much more aware of how much they are drinking and how much their peers are drinking, and can learn from that and hopefully decrease their consumption. Another method is injunctive and descriptive norms. It is very similar to PFI in that it brings awareness to what you are drinking and what others are drinking. There was a study done on sorority girls, and they learned how much they actually drank versus how much they thought they drank, and also what was considered normal. Once they saw their numbers, they reported drinking less. So if you would be able to start with sororities and fraternities, it would be a great start, and then go on to other groups around campus. Just becoming aware of how much you're drinking and the problems associated with it is going to help increase the negative attitudes and decrease the positive attitudes. In order to reduce risky drinking behavior effectively in young adults, this model suggests that it is important to decrease the positive attitudes toward risky drinking behavior and to increase the perceived favorableness toward risky drinking behaviors, and to increase the perceived favorableness toward reasonable, healthy alternatives in the targeted population, focusing on attitudes toward drinking and non-drinking activities, having more negative attitudes toward drinking activities, and more positive attitudes towards non-drinking activities. This can be an easy thing to do in college. Have more groups where people talk about their negative stories, or where they can share, and have these groups be groups where it does not include drinking. You can then set up clubs that don't tolerate alcohol, and by having these positive groups that don't include alcohol, you'll hopefully get more people to join and move on. Another thing that would be beneficial is working on life goals. Teaching these students about setting goals is a great tool, and the more they reach their goals, the less likely they are to drink heavily. Studies assessing life goal meaning in college students have consistently found that students who experience high levels of meaning across their important life goal pursuits experience fewer heavy drinking episodes and less alcohol-related problems. Research on life goals in college student drinking suggests that goal meaning may act as a protective factor against hazardous drinking among college students. Ideographic approaches have college students self-generate life goals and then rate how meaningful their self-generated goals are. While nomothetic approaches have students rate specific developmentally important life goals for meaning. By offering different groups on campus allows for students to try them out and see which one works best. This gives everyone an opportunity to get comfortable with some peers and hopefully make better decisions together. This can also enable more groups for different activities that don't involve alcohol, and hopefully continue to decrease drinking on campus all around. By having a social psychologist run these groups would help with the social interactions, identities, and figuring out that these students can belong